We all procrastinate. We avoid the things that we know that we need to do, and then we spend the rest of the day beating ourselves up. It's amazing. Actually, it sucks, doesn't it? So how do you stop procrastinating? Oh, simple. Just nail yourself to a chair. That's what you do. You tell yourself no booze until you get it done. That works. No, it doesn't. The reason why these things don't work is because most of us don't even understand what procrastination is. I know I certainly didn't. The reason why you procrastinate is not why you think. Procrastination has nothing to do with work. Procrastination is a stress reliever. That's right. It's a tool that you use to give yourself relief from stress that you feel. And the stress that you may be feeling right now might be stressed about money. You might be stressed about your health. Maybe you're stressed about something going on at work or about a relationship that you're in. And the way that this relates to procrastination is you're stressed out, you got work you know you need to do, but instead of doing it, you go online or you watch the highlights of last night's game or you waste an hour looking at Facebook. And when you do that, when you avoid work, it makes you feel good, but just for a minute. See, this is where we get procrastination all wrong. A lot of people think procrastination is about willpower, or it means that you're lazy. It has nothing to do with that. It's all about your stress. That's why your work ethic or discipline, that's not going to solve this either. The key to stopping procrastination, number one, is understanding what it is. It's a way that you deal with stress. And number two, it's about 5-second decisions that stop the cycle of procrastinating. Because when you change your decisions, you're going to change everything. And here's how you're going to use the 5-second rule to do it. When you catch yourself procrastinating, or you feel yourself starting to avoid what you need to do, use the rule. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, activate your prefrontal cortex, and then acknowledge. Acknowledge that you feel stressed out. That's the first piece. Then you're going to use the 5-second rule to just get started. That's it, for 5 minutes, that's all I'm asking. Force yourself, I'm stressed out, I get it, but I'm going to work for 5 minutes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, sit down and get started. After you've worked for 5 minutes, give yourself a break. Watch all the cat videos you want, I don't really care. The point here is that this is a way that you can use the 5-second rule in combination with research about beating procrastination that puts you in control of your decisions. Stacy found that when she used the 5-second rule to improve her relationship with herself, there was an amazing result. She stopped procrastinating. In her words, your rule has helped me grow in ways I never thought possible. I no longer procrastinate on anything. And the same is going to be true for you, because when you understand that procrastination is something that you do when you're stressed, and you also understand that the secret to beating procrastination, which is a habit, is to just get started, now you can use the 5-second rule to leverage all the research that will help you end the habit of procrastinating once and for all. Okay, how many procrastinators are in the room? Raise your hand. And everybody else is just procrastinating on raising their hand. I'm about to change your life because this piece of research changed mine. Procrastination has nothing to do with work. The people that write to us the most that struggle with procrastinating, PhD students, engineers, entrepreneurs, people that have a lot on their plate, that have a lot of things that they need to juggle, and that are analytical and thinkers by nature. Procrastination is a form of stress relief. What are you stressed about?
I want to get out of this business of real estate. I want to retire in the next 5 years, and I can't because I have not saved up. I have not gotten the money that I need to do that.
Bingo, and it makes you upset, doesn't it? Yeah. How many of you can relate to that? She said that what's stressing her out is she wants to retire. She hasn't saved up enough money. What's really stressing you out is finances and money and the fear that you have. What happens when you struggle with procrastinating, and thank you for being so honest, there's that stresses you out. Maybe you feel the same way. I mean, we felt that way.
I know exactly what you're talking about. You carry around this dark cloud because you don't think you're gonna make it and you're stressed about money all the time. Or maybe your mom's health is declining and that really stresses you out. Or maybe your best friends are going through a divorce or you're going through a divorce and that really stresses you out. And so you walk around with this big ass thing on your shoulders all the time. And then you walk into work and you sit down and you've got a list of phone calls to make, which requires your prefrontal cortex. And your prefrontal cortex looks at the list and is like, oh my God, you want me to make 15 phone calls? I've been worried about the money all day. Can we just look at cat videos? I need a break. And next thing you know, 2 hours is gone. You've been online shopping, you've been looking at cat videos, and then of course you look at the 15 phone calls and you're like, I didn't make them, I didn't make them, I didn't make them. The research on procrastination is undeniable. It's black and white. Number one, all of you that procrastinate, procrastination's not the issue, it's stress. You're procrastinating to give yourself a little break at work. It's sort of like taking a smoking break almost, you know? You're just taking a break. So number one, because you're all stressed out and procrastinators are very hard on yourselves, this is gonna sound super stupid, but you gotta forgive yourself. You have got to actually have a talk with yourself where you feel yourself starting to procrastinate. You go, look, I know I really screwed up. I know I'm in a mess financially. I forgive myself. I'm just gonna do the best that I can. So you have to address the thing that's underneath it. So that self-awareness of knowing, oh my God, here's that stress again about finances screwing me over and preventing me from doing the small things that will actually fix my finances. Second thing that you're gonna do, procrastination's a habit, right? You get triggered by stress, the habit is to procrastinate. So when you get triggered by stress, your new habit is, oh, there's my stress again. I'm gonna actually tell myself, okay, you've done the best you can. It's okay, we're gonna do a little bit today. You're gonna create what we call starting ritual. A starting ritual is something that pushes you to start. The best one on the planet, the 5-second rule. So you've said, okay, there's my stress again. I forgive myself. Now we're gonna 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I want you to only work for 5 minutes. That's it, 5 minutes. Make phone calls for 5 minutes. Here's what we know based on the research. 80% of you will keep going. The trick is starting. You see, I want to break the connection between the trigger, which is stress, and the response, which is procrastination. And whenever you feel stress, which is normal, you have a choice. Here's that gap. In 5 seconds flat, the habit of procrastinating and beating yourself up will take over. Or you can close the gap, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you can make a different choice. I'm just gonna get started. I'm just gonna be okay with where I'm at, and I'm just gonna get started. Got it?
Do it anyway is a mindset trick that you can use when you start to feel excuses rolling up. It works a lot like the 5-second rule. So you have said to yourself, okay, I'm going to talk to my boss today about that thing that I've been avoiding talking to them about. Or maybe you've said something like, I'm going to go to the gym today or tomorrow or whatever. And then the moment comes where you've got to have that conversation. Or the moment comes where it's time to pack up your bag and leave your desk and go to the gym. And what always happens? You don't feel like it. I bet there are plenty of you watching that have made a commitment that, I'm not going to have a drink tonight. And then guess what happens when you get home? You don't feel like not drinking. You feel like having a drink. And so here's what do it anyway has done for me. The idea that I just do it anyway has pushed me to realize and to recognize that there are a lot of moments where there are things in my life that I really want to do, I need to do, I should do, but when the moment comes, I don't feel like it. And so I pull out this idea of, you know what, I'm just gonna do it anyway. It's raining outside. I said I would go for a short run. I don't feel like it. I'm gonna do it anyway. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm tired. It's cold. I laid out my yoga clothes, but now I don't feel like it. What do? I do it anyway. When you start to say to yourself, I'm going to do it anyway, what happens is something really cool. You acknowledge that there are feelings that you have that are trying to swoop in and hijack you. You acknowledge them and you basically say, guess what? I'm going to do it anyway. Oakley is chomping at the bit that that we asked this question. What is the question?
All right, so
is it on topic?
yes.
Okay, go ahead.
It's from Ben S. Snack. How can I make a huge life decision, such as a job change, move to another state? I want the job, but I'm scared.
Oh, I love that. So the question is, great question, Oakley, and great question, Benisnack. So how do you make a big decision, right? So it's a decision that sounds like he's going to accept a new job, but it requires him to move to another state. And notice what he said, I want it, but I'm afraid. This is the perfect question for right now because you would actually use do it anyway. You see, the thing about the way to make decisions, this is my decision-making tool. I don't think we haven't covered it yet in this, but for those of you that have followed me for a while, you know that I have this decision-making tool. In fact, we talked about it in the journaling method. So in the journaling method, if you go back to videos 9, 10, and 11, and if you look at the journaling method that we talk to you about, and look, I want to tell you something. I'm not asking you to buy this. In fact, please don't buy the 5-second journal. We don't have any more in stock. They're sold out around the globe. We'll print more. Do not buy this. I'm not doing this training to ask you to buy anything. I'm showing you this because for those of you that don't have the journaling method in front of you, if you go to 5secondjournal.com, 5secondjournal.com, if you go to 5secondjournal.com, what you will find is a ton of free templates that will show you the journaling method for free. You don't ever have to buy that. I'm telling you not to buy it. I want to be very clear. The reason why we're doing these trainings is not to get you to buy something, okay? It's to help you learn how to reset your mind. So back to the question. The opening thing in the journal, do I have one that's open here? Because then I can, well, I'll just open this one. The opening thing in the journal is a fuel gauge that has you tune in, and this is going to get to decision making, that has you tune in to how you are feeling energy-wise every morning. And so let me show you what that looks like in case you haven't seen those videos yet. So you see this little fuel gauge right here. Oh, can you see it on Instagram, Oak? Am I holding it up?
Yeah, just like not that one. Yeah, there you go.
Okay,
I can see it really
there you go. So that fuel gauge is a visual cue to have you tune into your energy and to assess whether or not you are depleted and empty about something and heavy, or the other extreme is energized, full, expanded, open to possibility. And the reason why I ask you to do that first thing in the morning to assess your mood, to assess your energy, to tune in, is because there's established research that says that your mood in your morning impacts your productivity and focus all day long. And so if you can boost your mood in the morning, it has a material impact on your focus and on your productivity all day. And so we use it in the morning in the journaling method that I've taught you in videos 9 through 11. But when it comes to decisions, I want you to do the exact same thing. I get that you're scared. It's a change. I would be kind of surprised if you weren't a little nervous about doing something awesome, like moving to a new state and starting a new job and all the possibilities that come in with it. So if you're trying to make a decision, do I do this thing that's scary or not? What you do is tune inward and really assess, how do you feel about it? When you think about yourself living in this new place and having this new job and all the possibility and growth that comes with it, do you feel dead and depleted and stuck? Or do you feel energized and alive and full of possibility? You see, if the decision is something that will expand your future, that will create possibility, that will make you grow, then it is 1,000% something that you must do. And you must do it even though you're afraid. And the fear is a very normal thing. And the fear is there because you're about to do something new. But do not use the fear to talk yourself out of making a decision that actually is grounded in growth and possibility and energizing you. So that's how I make decisions, using the stuff that you're learning in the Mindset Reset. And again, you can go back to the journaling method on videos 9, 10, and 11. But if you have a big decision to make and you notice that you're afraid, or you notice that you're stuck up here, go in and ask yourself, does the decision deplete me, make me stuck, make me feel dead, make me feel heavy? Or does the decision, even though it scares me, even though it's hard, Is there something about it that expands possibility and opens up my life and will give me an opportunity to grow? If you're in this camp, the answer is heck yes. If you're in the dead camp and the hell no, heck no, okay? All right, cool. Let me give you a shout out real quick, because the do it anyway thing, I do it every morning. Because here's the deal about me, you guys. I hate exercising. I hate it.
Yeah, you do.
I do. I hate it. But actually, I should say it this way. I hate going. I hate getting dressed for it. I hate driving there. But I love how I feel when I've done it. I love it. And so do it anyway has helped me get through the front resistance, the part that I hate. And it helps me get there. And once I'm there, I absolutely don't necessarily love the exercise, but when I'm done, I love how I feel. And so that's how I use do it anyway, okay? Every day I use do it anyway, because it works so powerfully for me to push my excuses aside and to actually take care of my body, which is a very important thing in terms of my commitment, in terms of my desire to really enjoy my life fully. But I never, ever, ever, I'm never the kind of person that wakes up and goes, yeah, let's go exercise. I'm never the kind of person that is driving there going, I'm so excited to do this. I'm never the kind of person walking in that's even like, yes, I'm so glad I made it. I dread it, usually all the way through it. Sometimes I half enjoy it while I'm there, but mostly I dread it. But by the time it's over, I frigging love the fact that I went, and that's why I do it.
I often find myself procrastinating on working on my side hustle of making online content by keeping busy with cleaning. It gives me the illusion that I'm being productive.
Yes.
How do I stay on track? It reminds me of you with the furniture.
Yes, I used to rearrange the furniture in my living room every week because it allowed me to distract myself from doing the real work that I needed to do, which was to create a side hustle so we could pay our bills. It became like a joke. So the thing about procrastination is it's triggered by stress. So your cleaning is being triggered by stress. And there's only one way to deal with this pattern. You have to interrupt it. So when you catch yourself cleaning next time, that's a moment of power because you're now present. You're like, oh my God, here I am cleaning again. Use the 5-second rule, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to switch gears in your brain and get control in the moment. And then I want you to just do one thing on your side hustle. That's it. Drop the cleaning stuff, walk over, send one email on your side hustle, write one paragraph of content, do one thing. And here's why. Here's why I want you to focus on doing one thing or working for 5 minutes. That's it. Set a timer for 5 minutes. I'm going to work on content for 5 minutes. We know based on the research that you're 80% of the time you're going to keep going past the 5 minutes, because the issue isn't that you don't know how to create content. The issue is that when you start to feel stressed out, you go to cleaning. It's a pattern that you've trained yourself to do. The only way to interrupt that pattern is to break it and insert a new one, okay? And let me just say something about procrastination and perfectionism, okay? Because how many of you struggle with being a perfectionist? Yep, I'm sure. The thing about those of you who are perfectionists is that it's not about being perfect. Perfectionism is really your attempt to be in control. And we're seeing a massive rise in the number of people that struggle with perfectionism. And I think it has to do with the fact that our culture is now so focused on performing from an early childhood, from how you do in school to being on the right club team, and then it's the travel team, and then it's the this team, and then it's recruiting for college, and the way that we parent our kids, and helicoptering and swooping down, and the pressure of college, and the pressure to achieve, and the concern that you're going to make a mistake. I mean, this has become a self-imposed epidemic. And so if you are somebody who struggles with perfectionism. You can't turn in something at work until it's perfect. You can't finish the paper until it's perfect. You can't even start with redecorating your room until you know the perfect color. That this is really about control. You are uncomfortable just being in the flow. You're uncomfortable with the unknown. And the most important thing here is to realize that this is a pattern, and you absolutely have to break free of the need to do everything right and to get into the mode of just being willing to try. Get into the mode of understanding, hey, if I turn in something at work that's not like perfect, I'll get feedback and then I'll make it right. Like in the work and in the willingness to just keep pushing things down the line, keep showing up, keep raising your hand even though you're not sure you're going to say it right, keep contributing, keep asking for feedback. You 1,000% will slowly lose the grip of being a perfectionist. Because the only way to break that pattern is to realize, oh my God, I'm trying to keep control, and that's why I'm holding on to this paper. That's why I'm torturing myself. That's why I'm doing everything. The magic is in the willingness to push things forward, to try, to get in the flow, to basically say, I'm just gonna do my best. That's it. I'm not gonna do it right. I'm going to just try. I'm gonna do my best. And when I get feedback on how I can do it better, that's how I'm gonna learn. I am a lifelong learner. I don't ever think I'm going to do anything perfect. This is not something I struggle with anymore because I have broken this pattern in my mind and realized that all of the opportunity and magic comes from you being willing to put yourself out there when you're not perfect, being willing to do things and start things when you haven't figured it out. And understanding that when you get into the flow and into the conversation and into the live stream, that you can get into problem solving mode and you can figure it out. So this is a question from Vicky. Vicky writes, I'm trying to become a fashion and beauty blogger and earn money from it full time, but I have some kind of mental block and procrastination problem when it comes to actually pushing myself to do anything related to that goal. This is something that we hear about all the time. That you have this huge goal, yet you cannot seem to push through the mental block, that you have something that you want to do full time, but you can't seem to beat procrastination. This is something that we see over and over and over again. And it's this idea that you don't ever start. You stay trapped in your head. And if you feel paralyzed, if you've been spinning the same ideas over and over and over again, then you know what I'm talking about. You see, many of you are thinking way too fucking big. You're attaching way too much pressure on the things that you're interested in. Until you start blogging about fashion, you won't even know if you like it. So thinking that you have a dream about doing it and thinking that you have this grand plan that you're going to do it full time, it is a complete and utter waste of your time to be dreaming that big. And let me tell you why. Because oftentimes, if you're the kind of person like Vicky that's getting trapped up here, the bigness of what you're thinking about is what's stopping you. What I want you to do if you're in Vicky's situation is I want you to stop dreaming and I want you to just start doing small things. I want you to go back to curiosity and less into crushing your big goals. The thing about life and business and success is that you have to be willing to start. And for people that procrastinate, starting is the hardest part. For people that worry, for people that think too big, starting is the hardest part. Folks that study procrastination talk about the fact that the only way to beat procrastination is to create what they call a starting ritual, which is a way to push yourself to get started. Because all the research shows that if we can push you to get started on something, you'll likely keep going. So, Vicky, the only way to get out of the mental trap is to stop fucking thinking and actually start doing it. And maybe thinking that this is going to be your full-time employment, that's the wrong way to go about it. I want you to literally just commit to writing some sort of blog about fashion every day for a fucking week. That's it. Don't think about full-time. Don't think about the bigness of it. Actually start doing it. You may discover you don't like it, for crying out loud, but you're never, ever, ever going to advance if you continue up here. How do you force yourself to do it? Well, you can use the 5-second rule for that. You can wake up in the morning and say, today I'm committing to making small progress on this thing I'm curious about, which is fashion blogging. You can find time when you're going to sit down, and then the second that it's time to do it, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start writing. Here's what you can expect to experience if you're somebody like Vicky who has trouble getting out of the thinking loop. The second that it's time to actually move from thought to action, you will become a first-class asshole. You will feel resistance. You will struggle with what you're going to write. You will start to feel like it needs to be perfect. You're going to come up with excuses. You're going to talk yourself out of it. Why? Well, because you're used to thinking, and now you're asking yourself to do. Why am I explaining what you should expect? The reason why I'm explaining what you should expect is because it's normal to feel those things. It's normal to feel scared. It's normal to feel like you don't want to do it. It's normal to think about doing it perfect. Letting those things stop you is a choice. So, let me recap. You're the kind of person like Vicky that's got all these big ass dreams, but you can't get out of your thinking loops. You can't stop procrastinating. You can't stop thinking about it. You get overwhelmed, and so you do nothing. The only solution is micro action. That's it. I don't want to hear shit about your big goals. In fact, for everybody out there, I don't want to hear shit about your dreams and your goals until you're actually taking the actions every day for a couple weeks straight. You don't get to talk about your dreams until you can prove that you wake up and every single damn day you push yourself to take one small action forward. If you can do that consistently for a month, then you can start talking about your dreams. Then you can start talking about how you make money at it. Then you can start talking about how you build skill around it. But until you can actually get your ass out of bed and make the commitment to yourself to do the actions required to become a blogger, or to be a blogger, not become, to be a blogger, to be somebody that's in the restaurant business, you're just all talk. That's all I got to say on this. Do you feel like you're living the movie Groundhog Day right now? Where every day is the same day over and over and over again. Number one, accept it. Accept that that is a phenomenon, and accept that this is something that you are susceptible to unless you do two very important things. You need to shift time and you need to shift your mind. The first one is you've got to shift your relationship to time. How do you do that? A lack of a routine makes you feel like you're in Groundhog Day. We have to have a routine right now. Every day fighting to stay grounded and fighting to be kind to yourself and fighting to have the emotional resilience, which is the ability to cope with this once in a lifetime, first of its kind experience that we're all having. You got to wake up. You got to get your ass out of bed, and you have to get dressed. Now, another thing that I really want you to do, to exercise. Just spend 10, 15, 20 minutes. Please move your body. Emotion is stored in your body. Feeling a little bit of despair, which is what I was feeling this weekend. Please move your body as part of your routine, because we want to get all that negative emotion that's stored in your body, get it the fuck out of your body, okay? Pick a starting time where you're gonna start your day, meaning you're going to start your Zoom calls, or you're going to start working on that project, or you're going to start your first class. Pick a start time. That's, boom, your first anchor. We need to get that boat you're in anchored down in one place, and a start time to your day will do that. What's the other anchor that you need? You need an end point to your day. And then the final thing I want in your routine is I need you to pick something fun you're going to do tonight. It gives you something to look forward to. Tonight, we're going to watch the final episode of Tiger King. That's what I'm looking forward to. Now let's talk about the second shift that you need to make, and that is the shift in your mind. How do you make a mindset shift? This is all about attitude. Nothing is better for your attitude than a shot of gratitude. I know it sounds simple, but just reminding yourself that you're lucky to be alive. Seriously. If you look at any of the news that's breaking in New York City right now, you will be reminded you are lucky to be alive. When you tell yourself that you are lucky, that you're grateful, it creates a shift in your attitude that is so powerful. And it makes all of this boredom and isolation and despair that you feel about the fact that you may be stuck inside for another month or two, it makes it feel like way less of a big deal. You can use this time to work on managing your mindset. Your mindset may default in a certain place, but you can build the skill of shifting your mindset to default somewhere more optimistic and resilient. I want you to understand that it's not a one and done in life, particularly with your mind, that as you face new challenges in life, you're going to have waves of negativity. These waves are going to come and they're going to go. And I want you to know you're going to have some down days and you're going to have some up days. Constantly working on being okay when you have a down day, feeling the feels, and then working to redirect your mind to gratitude, to positivity, to optimism. That is a skill that you will always come back to. I want you to know better days are coming. And there are going to be days where you are going to wake up and you're going to realize you're going to be okay. And you're going to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And you're going to realize that you got yourself through this. It's so important for you to understand that you didn't choose this, but you can choose how to go through it. And so I cannot wait to bring on fitness coach Peter, who is losing his motivation over in Ireland. So let's see what he has to say right now.
Hello there, Mel, team, and the phenomenal community. I'll stay connected. My name is Peter, and I'm dialing in from the Republic of Ireland. And I've got this question based on today's live stream topic, positivity. I'm a fitness coach, and I feel like I've been inspiring, motivating, teaching how to deal with different obstacles, my clients, my family. But on most days, especially now, I am feeling I'm losing the ground under my own feet, and I'm struggling with finding that constant flow of positivity. So my question is, how can I find that balance within my own? So thanks very much for everything you do. Stay blessed, stay well. Thank you again.
All right. So there were a couple things about the question. First of all, Peter, thank you so much for sending your question all the way from Ireland. And you said a couple things that jumped out at you. You are losing the ground underneath you, and you are seeking advice about how to stay motivated consistently. So here's what I want to do. I want to put this in the language that you as a fitness coach will certainly appreciate, but you watching, this is for you too. You're training for this moment. And Peter in particular, somebody who has been motivating people, who has been training people to be physically fit. You have been training for this moment your entire life. And you got to view this moment like a test. And what is the test testing? It's testing who you are. That's part of the race right now, how you show up for it, right? It's not a matter of how you finish it. It's how you show up for it and what you do while you're running it, the kind of racer that you are. And look, I get it. This is a very difficult race that we're all running because we don't know where the finish line is. And it is very, very hard to stay motivated, which is the advice that you're seeking, Peter, when you don't even know when this damn thing is ending. This is the part of the race. I've run 4 marathons. Don't everybody gasp. I mean, it was nothing to brag about. I mean, I finished them, which is something to brag about, but it's not like I won the damn thing. But this is the point in time when you're running a race, when you said you're losing ground. What that means is you're starting to slow down. You feel your legs getting heavier. You feel your breath getting a little bit more shallow. You start to wonder, oh shit, why did I sign up for this thing in the first place? You start to wonder if you are going to make it. And so here's what I'm going to tell you, Peter. When you are coaching your clients and your clients start to lose ground, when you are coaching your clients and your clients don't feel motivated and they feel tired and they feel like giving up and they don't want to do another set of burpees, what do you tell them? You tell them to dig deeper. You tell them to find the strength within them to keep going. You see, what you need right now is you need to start building the motivation of your mind, because motivation doesn't exist in your body. It comes from up here. And what I hear is that you now have an opportunity. This is what the test is, Peter, to train harder, because you are capable of so much more. This is handing you a moment where you get to become an even stronger and more capable version of yourself. Now, does that mean that you're going to be motivated all day long, every single day that you wake up? No. But it means you've got to have the mental fitness right now to continue to get up, to show up, and to dig deeper when it comes to your mindset, when it comes to your attitude, when it comes to your just knowing that you are going to get through this. And so this moment, everybody, it's telling you who you are. It's telling you whether or not you're the kind of person that shows up to a challenge and you're pissed off, or you're sad, or you feel depressed, or you feel despair, or you feel all of these things that start to take you down the drain of negativity. And what I'm here to tell you is that you are built for this moment. You may not feel like it. You may feel sad. Those are all normal feelings. You may feel negative. It's very easy to do. You may start to feel a little bit of despair. That's going to come and go. But this is where the test of this race that we're currently running lies. When those feelings rise up and you start losing ground and you start feeling like you're not going to make it to the finish line and you start feeling unmotivated, can you dig deeper and remind yourself that you were built for this moment? Because one of the things that I know is that when the shit is hitting the fan, I guarantee you there are people in your life that are looking to you. There are people in your life, whether it's clients or colleagues or family members, that are looking to you right now. You know what that tells me? That you're the kind of person that people rely on. And now is the moment in time in the race that we're all running where you got to teach yourself to rely on yourself. How do you do that? How do you build the muscle of the mind? It's very simple. Very simple. I didn't say easy. I said simple. The steps are very simple. To win this race and to build strength in this muscle right up here, you got to focus on the shit you can control. And that is what you do with your body and what you do with your mind. And the one thing that has made a huge difference in me, because you can see that I am showing up as a very different Mel Robbins than I've been the last couple of weeks. The last couple of weeks, I have been losing the race. I've been going up and down. I've been doing my best to stay positive, but I am now back in the race. I have now found my ground and found my footing. And it comes in focusing on what you can control. And you know what you can control? There's only one thing. It's what are you doing to make this day the best day that you can do? What are you doing to master this day today? Fuck tomorrow. Forget about next week. Forget about what's happening this summer. This is a race that will be won by those of you who are the ability to focus on today and making today amazing. And so you know what I did today? Today, I did something I haven't done since the beginning of this quarantine. I got up an hour earlier than I normally do. Why? Well, because I noticed that throughout my day, I was feeling behind. Throughout my day, even though I was waking up, even though I have a morning routine, even though I was getting stuff done, I felt, even though I was doing all those things, somehow behind. And I realized that in order to master my day, in order to be fully in control of what I'm going to do today, I got to make sure that when my ass hits this chair at 9 a.m. and my workday starts, I have fully taken control of everything that puts my body and my mind first. And when I was honest with myself about why I was losing ground and why I wasn't feeling motivated and why I was starting to feel my own energy cycle down, it was because I was not taking the time in the morning to give myself the mental prep and training and the physical prep and training so that I could make this day, today, April 14th, with everything that I got. And so that's what you need to do. And that's what, Peter, you need to do too over there in Ireland. You need to remind yourself of who you are. You are a person who has been training for this moment your entire life. This is a race where you do not see the finish line, which means you have got to focus on today. You have got to focus on what you can control. And the only thing we can control is what our body is doing today and what we allow our minds to focus on. So the second your mind starts to go down that drain of, oh my God, what's going to happen? And this fall, and when's it going to end? And blah, 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 do. And you feel yourself losing motivation and losing ground. We are done mourning this situation. We are done feeling sad about this situation. How about we give ourselves a collective bitch slap? We dig a little bit deeper and we show up for this situation. What else are you going to do? Feel sorry for yourself? Lick your wounds? It's so much better when you decide to dig deep and you decide to show up. That's what I'm going to do. Some days it's going to be harder than others, but that's the whole point of getting stronger. Reminding yourself that you are capable of so much more. And all of the emotions that you're feeling and all of the excuses that you're feeling, it's all normal, but it's a choice as to whether or not you listen to them. So, Peter, keep me posted on how you're doing. And for you watching this, I hope that this gives you the kick in the ass that you need to shake that negativity loose and to rise to this moment and start working on the things that you can control, your mind and your body. And in case nobody else tells you today, I'm going to tell you, I love you. I believe in you. I don't care how tired you are. I don't care how sad you are. I don't care how overwhelmed you are. Get your shit together, because this is the new reality. And you can make today a better day by focusing on what you can control. And I'm going to be here every day, annoying, as positive as I can be, to push you to remember that. And if you're wondering, how the hell do I get on this and get this motivation from Mel and ask her a question and get the tough love that I need and seize the opportunity in this moment, just text your question. See the phone number below? That is our texting community. Get yourself on it. Ask a question. When you text it, there will be something that comes back to you. You got to reply in order to opt in. Ask the question. That way my team can reach out to you. You could find yourself on a future video. How about that? All right. You go have a great day and dig a little deeper today.
I don't know about you, but I never feel like getting out of bed. I mean, just this morning when the alarm went off, my first thought was, ugh. And then when I walked into the pantry and saw 2 piles of laundry on the floor that needed to get done, it was another, ugh. And then I looked at an email from work, big mistake. Hey, Mel, could you send over that presentation you're working on? Yeah, when I finish it. Can I tell you the truth about motivation? Because I know you're looking for the truth about motivation because you're listening to this episode. And I know you're looking for the kind of motivation that's going to light a fire in your belly and put some rocket fuel in your cereal. The kind of motivation that ultra marathoners eat for breakfast. I see you, David Goggins. The kind of motivation you need, but you don't often feel. So I want you to know you've come to the right place, because however you're feeling today, maybe you found out the budget for your project was yanked, or maybe I'm working on a goal forever and it feels like you're never going to get there, or your big dreams are feeling like a gigantic big burden. Maybe you've been stuck for a day, a whole week, or maybe you're feeling so unmotivated. You just feel unmotivated about life in general. Well, you've come to the right place, my friend, because I've got something simple to tell you. The single biggest secret to getting the life you want is understanding 3 words I don't want you to ever forget. Are you ready? Here they are. Motivation is garbage. You've been told a lie. You don't need to feel motivation. You need to understand motivation. If you look up the word motivation, you will learn that motivation is the driving force behind your actions. Now, that's what the dictionary is going to tell you. But I'm going to give you a different definition because it's going to help you understand motivation better. And it's also going to explain why motivation is garbage. So what's my definition of motivation? Simple. Motivation just means you feel like doing something. That's what motivation means. If you have motivation, you feel like doing it. Now, because motivation is a feeling, that means motivation comes and it goes. It blows in and then it blows out. I know you've felt motivated before. You've woken up and had that feeling. You've woken up and felt like, oh, today's the day. I'm going to take Shaun T's hip hop abs class. That's what I'm going to do. Or you've had that feeling of feeling motivated. Today I'm going to tell my mother-in-law that I'm not going to her house for the holidays. I'm hosting holiday dinners at my house because I've wanted to do it for years. Or maybe you felt motivated to replace the donut you normally have with your coffee and make a kelp smoothie instead. But here's the interesting thing. By the time you get out of the shower, your, quote, motivation to change, that feeling of wanting to do it, it is gone. That Shaun T class, it looks insanely hard. And by the way, you haven't seen the inside of a gym since before quarantine. You don't feel motivated anymore. And your mother-in-law, she's probably going to play the victim. So you don't feel motivated anymore. And kelp, I mean, come on, kelp is kelp. Your new life, it can wait until tomorrow. That's because motivation, it's fleeting, particularly when you feel nervous or afraid. Now, you may feel motivated to make changes, but it's very rare that that feeling of wanting to do it is going to translate into action. So that's why motivation is garbage. Because if you're sitting there relying on motivation, if you're sitting there waiting to feel like it, if you're waiting for more of it to launch you into action, it's never coming. Waiting for motivation is a trap because you're never going to feel like doing the things you need to do. And that's why the days of your life start to stack up one after the other, year after year. It's why sometimes life feels like Groundhog Day, or that every day blends together like one boring-ass stretch of a highway. That's why it's so easy to get stuck. Because when you're waiting to feel motivated, you're never going to do it. So now that you understand that motivation is garbage, it's not coming. Motivation is just feeling like doing something. You can also understand why you can't rely on it. You're never going to feel motivated when you need to feel motivated. See, when my life turned upside down last year, I didn't want to get fired from my talk show. I didn't want to have to deal with a pandemic. I didn't want to have to reinvent my business. I didn't ask for this. And I bet all of the things that happened to you, you didn't ask for it either. And here's the thing. When the you-know-what hits the fan, you're not going to feel motivated to go out and reinvent yourself. I know I certainly didn't. I had to force myself to do it. My friend didn't want her husband to walk out on her for somebody else. She's not motivated to move to a new place and upend her life and face this mess. She has to force herself to do it. I know that you also have something going on that you're not motivated to do. You don't feel like doing it. You know you need to face it. You know you need to make the change, but you just don't feel like doing it. Well, you're going to have to force yourself to do it too. Look, I get it. If you're going to change anything about your life, you're going to have to face the unknown. You're going to have to do some hard things. You're going to have to step out of your comfort zone. Yeah, you are going to have to try something new. Yeah, you are going to have to face risk and rejection and judgment. Yeah, you might screw it up. Of course it's scary. Of course it's nerve-wracking. That's why most people never change. Most people are sitting around waiting to feel like doing it. They're waiting for motivation. And motivation isn't coming. That's why motivation is garbage. And here's the thing. You don't need to feel like it in order to change your life. You see, your problem is the same as everyone else's. You, right now, in the area of your life that you're frustrated, you're waiting. You're waiting to feel ready. You're waiting for motivation. You're waiting for something that's never going to come. So, how do you stop waiting and start getting honest with yourself? How do you flip this thing if motivation is garbage? Well, simple. You got to stop waiting to feel like it. You see, you've been letting your feelings dictate your actions, and we got to stop that. Changing your life takes work. It is hard. I mean, if changing your life were easy, everybody on the planet would have $1 million in the bank. Everybody on the planet would have six-pack abs. Everybody would have the perfect marriage and orgasms every day and would travel for a living. You need to stop thinking that change is somehow going to be easy, and you need to stop thinking that one day you're just going to wake up and magically you're going to feel like doing the work you've been avoiding for years. Are you kidding me? Stop waiting to feel motivated. This is a massive mistake, and it's costing you your happiness. It's costing you the changes you want to make. You got it? Good. Now that you're ready to stop waiting, you're like, all right, Mel, all right, I got it. It's a feeling, and I'm not going to feel it. Let me tell you what you got to do next. We're going to flip this whole motivation mindset on its head. This is a concept I call parent yourself. You got to be the parent in your life because you know what? No one is coming to do the work for you. No one is going to start that YouTube channel or make you get healthy or force you to put yourself back out there again and start dating or go back to school or force you to clean out the back bedroom or force you to launch that side business or force you to start saying no or drawing boundaries or force you to learn to love yourself or to get your work done. If you don't have what you want, it's your responsibility to push yourself to go get it. You're not a child anymore. It's time to grow up. Seriously. It's not your parents' job to change your life. It's not your spouse's job or your friend's job. When you're an adult, no one owes you anything. And listen, it's not easy. It's normal to want someone else to just swoop in and take care of you. You are probably used to people taking care of you. I mean, that's what it was like when you were a kid, right? You had all kind of folks around you, teachers, caregivers, parents, coaches, pushing you, prodding you, coddling you. You may even feel a little entitled to it. No doubt, it certainly makes life easier if someone else would just handle all this crap you need to do, right? But they're not going to. Just like that feeling of motivation, it's not coming. When you're an adult, you need to learn how to rely on yourself for permission, validation, inspiration, structure, and yeah, you got to learn to rely on yourself for the push that you need to do what needs to get done. And I got it. This is a new muscle. It's okay. It's okay. You can flex this new muscle. Everybody goes through this because we were all trained as kids that somebody else needed to give us permission or approval before we could push ourselves. I mean, you had a coach, you had a parent, you had a teacher, you had a youth group counselor, somebody who saw potential in you and pushed you. Part of why you feel unmotivated is because you've learned over the years to expect someone else to do that, to give you the answers, to give you permission, to tell you to run another set of ladders, to tell you to push harder. It's a conditioned response to look outside yourself for answers and for motivation. It's one of the reasons why you take so few risks at work. You're afraid of doing it wrong. You're afraid you're going to get in trouble, just like you did as a kid. Well, guess what? It's time for you to be the adult in your life. It's time for you to parent yourself so that you never sit around waiting for someone else to give you permission or waiting for someone else to force you to do the things you need to do that will change your life. The secret to motivation is pushing yourself.
So I have to give a huge shout out to the one and only Christopher Robbins. He has done the challenge 75 hard. And today is day 75. So for people who don't know what it is, tell everybody what you just did for 75 days. You monster.
I read 10 pages of nonfiction every day, drank a gallon of water,
Every day.
followed a diet,
Every day.
worked out twice a day for 45 minutes each, one time outside every day.
And the hardest thing to remember to do
Take a picture of yourself every day.
without a shirt on.
Right.
So 75 hard is a challenge that people are doing. Hold on, no. You're not going to get out of here that easy. It's a challenge that everybody, not everybody, lots of crazy, monster, amazing people like my husband Chris, my very good friend Carrie Lorenz, the first female fighter pilot in the United States. It's a 75-day challenge. And here's the kicker. Oh, good job, Dad, right? Ooh. Here's the kicker. If you miss a day, if you miss one thing of the 2 workouts, one that's outside, sticking to the diet, which Chris meant no processed sugar, no alcohol, if you don't take the selfie, if you don't drink the gallon of water, if you don't read the 10 pages, you have to go back to day 1. This is 75 days hard because it's hard to do. Why on earth would you want to do something like this?
Well, this one forced me to get up early and have a super rockin' morning routine, which started my day off awesome every day.
And what does this kind of discipline or self-imposed challenge provide in your life?
Stability.
See, that's the key. I'm not doing 75 hard. That is not a challenge for me. I'm already hard enough on myself. I already got plenty going on. My version would be 5 soft. 5 days being soft on myself, right? No, but seriously.
That's my next program.
So one of the coolest things, though, about taking on a challenge is that when your world feels upside down, or when you feel like you're losing control, or you feel like you're disconnected with yourself, taking on your own challenge is a way to insert control into your life. And by focusing on the things that you're supposed to do every day as part of the challenge, whether that challenge is 75 hard or the challenge that I love to do, which is the high five challenge, 5 days of high-fiving yourself in the mirror as a way to change your neural pathways and how you see yourself in your reflection. That's 5 days. It's easy. Chris is doing 75 hard. Take on a challenge and you'll be surprised. Even if it's just a challenge, like I'm going to make my bed every day for 5 days. I am going to get out of bed when the alarm rings for 5 days. I'm going to exercise for 5 days in a row. Whole 30, dry January, those are all challenges that people do in order to practice the skill of discipline. So I just wanted to say, I'm so proud of you.
Thanks.
It's super amazing that you did it on your first try. And that the other thing that's super amazing about you is that Chris does challenges and he just does them. I have a lot of drama around these things. So I would have dragged our entire family into 75 hard. But I'm really impressed by the fact that you do this stuff for you. You inspire me.
Thanks.
Any parting words?
Still got one more day to go.
Don't blow it. Imagine if you didn't take the selfie today. Don't blow it. There she is. Okay, goodbye. The power of your attitude. Now, here is the quote that I've picked to kick us off. If you stay positive in a negative situation, you win. Let me say the quote again today. If you stay positive in a negative situation, you win. What exactly are you winning? You're winning the war against negativity. You're winning the war against despair. You're winning the war against stress. And you know, negativity, it is a sneaky little bastard. Let me tell you something, because it sort of creeps into your life. It creeps into your mind. It creeps into your skin and into your blood pressure. And before you even realize it, you've started to succumb to it. And how do you know that you are succumbing to negativity? Well, first of all, it depletes you. It has a heaviness to it. It has an intensity to it. And when you succumb to negativity, it changes your character. You snap at your kids. You snap at your teammates. You feel stuck. You feel on edge. You feel tense. And that's why I want to talk to you about the power of your attitude right now, because your brain is a pattern recognizing machine. And when you succumb to negativity, whether you think you're doing it or not, your brain will automatically start to see more negativity and feel more negativity, which is why it's so easy to get stuck ruminating and worrying and in this sort of loop that you can't get out of. And so we're going to talk today about building a positive attitude as a habit. Now, why do you want to build a positive attitude as a habit right now? Well, first of all, because a positive, powerful attitude is infectious. It inspires other people. It makes you resilient. And from a mindset perspective, it will help you spot more positive things. What positive things could you spot? You can spot opportunities. You can spot solutions to the problems that you're feeling. You can spot problem-solving strategies. You can spot ways to connect. You can spot ways to be more innovative. And so positive attitude breeds more positivity. That's why I want to teach you how to do it, because it's a strategy. Did you hear that word? So a powerful, positive attitude is not only a habit I want you to develop, but it is a strategy. And you're deploying other strategies right now to make you strong and to make you safe. You're washing your hands, you're getting supplies, you're editing your news intake, you're connecting with friends. Developing the habit of a powerful attitude is a strategy. And when you practice having a powerful attitude, what happens is it becomes a habit. What's a habit? It's just a pattern that you repeat. So instead of succumbing to negativity, which can become its own habit, your powerful attitude becomes a habit. And look, I'm not talking about like saccharine, stupid, unrealistic, throw caution to the wind. Let's just be positive. I'm positive I'm not going to get this. I'm positive I should go on spring break because I'm not at risk. I'm positive that I don't have to worry about that. That's not positivity. That's stupidity. Okay. What I'm talking about is the kind of powerful attitude where you are able to see opportunity in any moment, where you are able to keep your wits about you in any moment, where you are able to have an attitude about what you're facing that keeps you strong and keeps you in control, that your attitude day to day is keeping you anchored. So even when the headlines come in, if you happen to see them and they wig you out and you feel yourself succumbing, you can go right back to boom, having a powerful attitude. And, you know, one of the things that I've noticed, and I don't know if you notice this too, is I feel something huge bubbling, something hugely positive bubbling. I feel that there is a collective shift in consciousness in human beings right now, that this change is happening and it could bring out so much good because it reminds you of the things that you know. It reminds you of the importance of community. It reminds you of the power of connection. It reminds you of the power of being a person who's optimistic and positive and powerful in your attitude. It reminds you of the goodness in people. And it reminds you that we are all so much more alike than we are disalike. And I want you to be a part of this powerful collective shift in terms of the attitude and consciousness in the world. And I know that sounds like big ass stuff right now to be talking about on March 20th, but I'm telling you something, you have the power to shift the way that people you're interacting with think, because that's what the power of your attitude comes down to. When you show your children, your family, your friends, and your community that you're okay, you infect other people with this positivity. You show other people that it is possible to face what we're facing right now and not succumb to fear. If you Google the word optimism, you will see a definition that is about optimism being the belief or the hope that things will be better in the future. That is not the definition of optimism that I use. Nope. 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 Optimism. When I talk about optimism, optimism is a skill. Optimism is a mindset. Optimism is something that you can build, and I'm going to teach you 3 secrets to building optimism today on the live stream. Optimism is the mindset where you believe that no matter what you're facing, you can affect positive change on the outcome based on your thoughts and based on your action. Optimism is not being in a shitty situation and hoping it gets better. Optimism is being in a shitty situation and believing that your mindset and your actions can have a positive impact on the outcome of this shitty situation. There is no doubt in my mind that your mindset and your thoughts and your actions are critical to your success, to your happiness. They are critical to how you move through this particular moment of uncertainty. They are critical to you feeling a sense of control, to you having resilience. And look, you're going to hear me say this a million times. You didn't choose to be in this situation, but you can choose how you move through it. And today I'm going to give you the 3 things that you need to know in order to build an optimistic mindset. I'm going to show you something really important about why optimism is so important and why it's so important for you to build an optimistic mindset, particularly if you default to pessimism. Then we're going to take Lorenzo's question from Italy. I'm going to answer it, and then I'm going to give you the 3 things that you can start doing today in order to build an optimistic mindset. And if we have time, I will absolutely scroll through the comments and I will start taking your questions. Okay. Oh, Bangladesh. I see somebody joining from Bangladesh. How you doing? I'm so glad you are here. I see somebody asking, how do you overcome the negative thoughts and the negative news? I'm going to hit it all, but let me show you something first. This is what happens when you are a pessimist. Oh shit, it's negative. It's the reverse on Instagram, I think. Oopsie. Well, we will push this on our blog. And if you want to see this on the front way, you're going to go to YouTube or Facebook, because basically what happens when you're a pessimist, I apologize that this is backwards, but you're going to start to see, is that what happens when you're a pessimist is that your mindset, it's like putting on a pair of glasses, right? Right now I have clear glasses, so I can see clearly. If I put on a pessimistic set of glasses, everything that I see is suddenly tinted in a negative gray setting, right? Ooh. Being optimistic, being pessimistic, it's like putting on glasses that tint the way you see the world. And what I want you to know is that at any moment in your life, and this I hope is the moment, I want you to make a choice, because you can choose to develop an optimistic mindset. A pessimistic mindset, I'm going to wear these dark glasses, because what happens when you have a pessimistic mindset is no matter what's happening, you focus on what's wrong. You see things in a dark, negative way. And then when you focus on what's wrong from your mindset, guess what happens? You start to ruminate. And you start to complain either out loud or to yourself. And when you start to ruminate and you start to complain, guess what happens? It creates more of that. And what does that do to you? You see more negative because you're complaining and you're ruminating. What else do? You start to feel helpless. And the other thing that you do is you're going to get really stuck. You're going to get stuck in a negative place, which reinforces a pessimistic mindset. At any moment, everybody, you can decide you are going to see things differently. You're going to put on a different mindset, which is like putting on a pair of glasses that have a colored lens. When you are optimistic, and again, I apologize to you if you're watching on Instagram and this is backwards. We will make sure on the blog at melrobbins.com and also on every other social media platform, you will be able to see this. We will also post this in Instagram stories. When you have a optimistic mindset, which is a choice, it's a skill that you build. Number 1, you focus on what you can control, okay? And in any situation, I don't care how shitty of a situation you're in, there are always 2 things you can control. You can control whether or not you have a positive attitude about what you're experiencing, and you can control whether or not you take action. Those are the 2 A's that are always in your control, no matter what you're facing. Okay. And if you disagree with me, just pick up a copy of Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, and you will read a memoir about a man who kept himself alive at Auschwitz because he cultivated an optimistic mindset. He cultivated an attitude. He took tiny actions that gave him the sense of hope and gave him this feeling that no matter what was going to happen, he could affect a change based on his own thoughts and action. And finally, when you focus on a positive attitude and taking action, what happens is you're able to reframe a negative situation. You're able to make a plan, and you will feel empowered, which only helps you build a more optimistic mindset. You see, you're either going to get stuck in a negative, pessimistic loop, or you're going to make a decision today that you're going to build an optimistic mindset. You're going to focus on what you can control, and you're going to build a positive attitude, and you're going to start taking tiny actions that allow you to reframe what's going on, make a plan, and feel more energized. Now, what I want to do is I want to talk to you about the 3 strategies that will keep you, the secrets to building an optimistic mindset. You ready? Excellent. Here we go. Number 1, the secret to an optimistic mindset. You got to be maniacal about your intake. Negativity in here means negativity in your body gets stored here and negativity comes out here. It becomes this loop of negativity. And so in order to build a positive mindset, I want you to be maniacal about positive input. That means really watch your news intake. Do not be watching it every day. Get the facts, get what you need to know from a trusted, measured, calm, factual source, and then turn that shit off. Okay. That's number 1. Number 2, edit your social media. Anything on your social media feeds should be helping you be more resilient, more optimistic, more positive. Anything that you're following that triggers you, that is negative, that rubs you the wrong way. You know, one of the things that I've noticed, I have some favorite celebrities that I have followed for a while because I think they're funny, or I love just kind of their sense of humor. But there are so many people that I have muted right now because I think that what they're doing online is so freaking out of whack. Seeing people give us advice about quarantining from the back of their estates and mansions, telling us to donate when they're not saying they're donating, seeing this kind of tone deaf celebrity thing going on. I'm normally not a negative person about that, but I have muted so many accounts because it's not doing anything for me. And you got to be selfish right now. You have got to edit your social media feeds so that your social media feeds are helping you build an optimistic and positive mindset. And so every day, the second I see something, I mute, unfollow, because negativity in means negativity gets stored here, means negativity goes out there from you. You want to put positivity, optimism, tools, strategies, things that keep you laughing, things that keep you giving you things that you can use right now. The second you start getting overloaded with Corona stuff, mute that stuff, edit your social media based on what you need. That's number 1, maniacal about your intake. The second secret to building an optimistic mindset is do tiny things every day that boost your mood. Okay. So we're going to build your mood muscle. If you can, move your body, because negativity gets stored here. And moving your body, we know based on the research, simply moving your body for 10 or 20 minutes a day will release chemicals in your mind that help you boost your mood. The second thing that will boost your mood is I want you to make a tiny promise to yourself every day. Just one thing that makes you feel more positive. Is it getting up on time? Is it eating something healthy? Is it only having one glass of wine or reaching for a mocktail? I want you to put one tiny promise into place. Put it into the comments right now. What's one tiny promise that you can make to yourself that you're going to do every day? It might just be that you're going to wake up every day, take a deep breath, remind yourself that you're healthy, and that's going to be the tiny promise. I want you to do one tiny promise every day, because keeping a promise to yourself will boost your mood and make you feel more in control. Another way to build your mood muscle is have a zero tolerance policy for your own negative thoughts. Right now, as you edit social media and edit your news take and edit your negativity coming in from the outside world, do not tolerate negativity from the inside world. I woke up this morning, I looked in the mirror, I looked at the gray hairs that are coming in, particularly like right up here, and I started to go negative. I started to feel dreary, and I went, Mel, cut this shit out. You got to fight to stay positive, gal, because we are in this for another couple months. And do not succumb to despair. Do not start thinking negative stuff. When you have negativity internally, you got to have a zero tolerance policy for that shit. It's one thing to feel what you need to feel so that you can move through it. It's another thing to let negativity dwell up here and start ruminating. The 5-second rule is genius for this. Count fucking backwards. The second that negative, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Not listening to it. No, I am redirecting my thoughts. That's right. I am looking for the things I can control. I am keeping a positive attitude by focusing on things that I can control right now today. Got it? Good. The third thing that you need to do in order to build an optimistic mindset. You ready, everybody? Here we go. I want you to pick a small 10-week goal that you can control. Why am I saying 10 weeks? I'm going to tell you why 10 weeks. Because I think that we've got 10 weeks ahead of us of physical distancing. I think we've got 10 weeks ahead of us, if we do it right, of life in this weird state. And I want you to pick one thing, one project, that's it, for the next 10 weeks. That's your personal project. It's something you can control. You ready? Something you can control. We're talking about how to build the skill of an optimistic mindset. And part of an optimistic mindset is focusing on what you can control. And I don't want you to jump ahead and worry about what's coming in the future. I want you to stay in this moment with me. I want you to realize that if you took on one small project for the next 10 weeks that you could control, something you've wanted to learn, some skill that you would love to have, some deficiency in your resume or your experience that you could gain in the next 10 weeks, there is something called YouTube University. That's right. Professor YouTube has so many tutorials out there. It's amazing. Right now, my husband is taking a Buddhist meditation teacher training class. My daughter is taking 2 classes. She is learning how to be better at Excel because she thinks it will help her with her summer internship. And it's something she was nervous about during the interview process. And she's also taking a painting class. What is one thing that if you were to use the next 10 weeks and we emerge from this and step into the next chapter of our lives, and you have learned something or you have developed a skill that equips you to feel like you are better positioned to step into this next chapter, you will constantly wake up every day and say, today, I get to take this class. Today, I get to work on this thing. Today, I get to spend an hour polishing my Chinese, working on personal development. I see you. I see Himmy Mom building a website. I see Sephora saying she's going to improve her English. I see Nabil saying I'm going to develop editing and online skills. I see LDG, creative, healthy cooking. I see Salio saying I'm going to find a class on YouTube University. What's a 10-week thing? Oh, I see Jack saying I'm going to take a French class. I'm going to learn how to crochet. I'm going to begin an online master's program. If you narrow your span of control to managing your mood, to being maniacal about the intake into your mind and working on a 10-week goal, you will be building an optimistic mindset because you will have weeded out negativity in from the outside world, which means negativity won't get stored here and it won't get expressed from you. You will have built your mood muscle by forcing yourself to move every day, by keeping a tiny promise to yourself, and by being absolutely zero tolerance for your own negative bullshit on the inside. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, redirect your mind to something you can control. And having a 10-week personal project where you pick something and you use YouTube University and you use this moment of time where you don't have anywhere to go and you don't have social distractions. You got time to focus on yourself. These 3 things will help you build an optimistic mindset. Absolutely, positively guaranteed. Can I require this of my teenagers? Here's what I would say about teenagers. One of the hardest things for teenagers right now is their loss of independence. And trying to require anything of your teenagers other than showing up for family dinner and creating their own routine, I think is a recipe for disaster. What I would do instead is I would share that this is what you're doing. And I would ask your teenagers a question. If you had a half an hour every day where you dedicated it to something other than school or other than being on your phone looking at social media, what's one thing that you never have time to do that you love doing? Is it playing guitar? Is it painting? Is it journaling? Is it reading a book? Is it knitting? Is it working on your tricks out on the trampoline in the backyard? What is it? If you ask your teenagers questions, in answering the question, they may find the self-motivation that this is something they want to do. I love that I don't know how to say your name, Jal, is working on emotional dependency and breaking apart the patterns that had you become somebody that was codependent and emotionally dependent on other people. Dr. Caro, I love you very much too. I think that's it. Today, the whole broadcast was about optimism. The reason why you cannot allow yourself to get into this pessimistic mindset loop, because it keeps you feeling helpless, it keeps you feeling stuck, it keeps you overwhelmed, and it makes you just stay stuck here. And why you got to build the skill of optimism. Because when you are optimistic, it's not that you are slapping a positive spin on a shitty situation. You are cultivating a mindset where you believe in your bones, your soul, every part of your being, that no matter what you're facing, you can have a positive impact on how you experience what you're facing, because you can choose what you think about and you can choose how you respond. And when you start to develop an optimistic mindset, it creates more optimism. It helps you see solutions and opportunities. It makes you feel more in control. It gives you things that you can focus on. It begets the ability to feel empowered, which only creates more empowerment for you. And the 3 things that you can do to create an optimistic mindset is, number 1, here's the 3 secrets. Be maniacal about what you allow into your mind. Totally. We do not turn the news on in this house. We don't allow it, because you know the old saying, if it leads, it bleeds. There's nothing but negativity coming off of the news right now. So there are a few things that we check. I look at the CDC, I look at the World Health Organization, and I look at the state of Massachusetts website, and that's about it. And I look at what Bill Gates is writing. And once I have the facts, I just focus on what I can control. I focus on my safety. That's it. I've also, every day I edit social media. Your social media should be serving you. If it triggers you in any way, if it creates any negativity, any tone deafness, anything, mute it, unfollow, get rid of that shit. Social media should be a service that is supporting you right now in your efforts to stay positive, to stay empowered, to stay safe, and to stay laughing. That is what you should use it for right now. The second thing to do to build a positive mindset is build your mood muscle. Move your ass. 10 to 20 minutes every day, because your body stores negativity. Make a tiny promise to yourself that you're going to keep every day, because keeping a small promise builds confidence, makes you feel like you're in control, and it creates momentum. And zero tolerance for your own negative bullshit. You got it? It's one thing to feel feelings, to move through them. It's another thing to let negativity sit up here and make you ruminate. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In 5 seconds flat, you feel your own negativity. You get that bullshit out of there. You got no room for that stuff right now. And finally, the third thing you can do to start to build an optimistic mindset, establish a 10-week personal project. This is something that you are excited to do, that you usually don't have time to do. Why 10 weeks? Because I think that 10 weeks is going to see you through this moment of time. Use YouTube University to watch tutorials. Take small step every single day. And remember this little hack that I taught you. Thank you, Lorenzo in Italy. If you start feeling the stress and anxiety and panic of, I need to do this, I have to do this, blah, 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 I can't get through my to-do list, I'm totally stressed out, blah, 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 blah. Stop. Take a deep breath. Use these 3 words. I get to take an online class. I get to do my homework. I get to do this to-do list. I get to be home with my family. I get to have this time alone. I get to work on myself. I get to fight to be positive. I get to take 20 minutes every day and stream an exercise class. It will flip your mindset into one of optimism, of control, and gratitude. Because let's face it, if you're healthy right now, and if you're able to watch a video online, you have reason to be grateful. And when you remind yourself of that, you will feel positive. Somebody just asked me why Bill Gates. I'm going to answer real quick, because he's one of the smartest human beings on the planet, who has made a commitment to donating almost his entire wealth to charities. And for the last decade, he and his wife have been at the forefront of global health research and initiatives and taking action. And if there is a man who is informed, who has been studying this, he gave a TED Talk in 2015 about pandemics, about world health, where he predicted this. He is talking about the fact that there are 3 things that we need to do right now. And one of them is we need to all be enforcing physical distancing for 10 weeks. We need to develop a way for everybody to test themselves so you know whether you've been exposed or not. And we need to collaborate globally on a vaccine. All 3 things based in fact and research, all 3 things that are measured and calm, all 3 things that make a hell of a lot of sense that I get behind. And so that's one of the reasons why. Research, credibility, a decade worth of experience, the smartest people on the planet, and a measured factual delivery. That is what I respond to, because I'll be damned if I allow fear, cynicism, hysteria, any of that crap that you see all over the news and the internet right now to enter my mind. There is no reason for it. You have the facts. 10 weeks, keep yourself safe, keep your mind optimistic, stay connected with me, stay connected with your family and friends, and we will get through this. 1,000%. We will get through this together. There are so many people, whether they're marginalized by society, or they do not have family support, or they do not have financial resources, or they do not have a supportive friend group, or they are not married. How do you actually get support when you feel like you have none?
Yeah.
Where do you even begin? I mean, first of all, I would imagine it has to be about your mindset, because if you continue to tell your story, I'm f***ed, or, like whatever, you're never gonna even do the work. But to try to create a support system, whatever that looks like. But where would you advise somebody who has that story? Maybe it's because of circumstances of their life. Maybe it's a reality right now.
Yeah.
A lot of people watch social media and listen to your podcast or watch us on YouTube, Jenna, because they don't have a support system. And so where do you begin if you're just feeling sort of rejected or jaded or alone?
Yeah. You and I have had so many conversations about this topic because I think it is so close to our hearts, especially as women and entrepreneurs. But, you know, it's really interesting because there was this reel that was going around, and it was like, do you ever notice that sometimes the people closest in your life are the last ones to support you? And the thought was because they're watching you change and they're still stuck. And I think a lot of times that thought alone, or when we get excited about something, or when we decide we're going to change and the people closest in our life aren't supporting us, we just stop. We stop wanting to change. We stop trying to change our life. We stop trying to take control of our future because we're like, how can the people literally sharing space with me or being in my life not support me? But what's so real to remember is that your change, while it might intimidate some, it is going to inspire so many more. And so you can't let that stop you. So here's the thing that I've realized, especially coming out of the pandemic, especially too as a mom of young ones, is like, you know how they always say, like, it takes a village. And I think a lot of people are looking around right now and saying, where is the village? Where
Yes.
are my
Okay. So
people?
stop. So I want to say this right now.
Yeah.
How many of you literally just, you're like, ding, 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 ding. I don't even have that family, Jenna. Where's the damn village? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm ready to change. Where is everybody that is going to help me? How do you start? Because you know what book keeps coming to mind, and you're going to have to help me with the title, or can everybody watching help me crowdsource this? It's an incredible book. I have read it twice. I can't remember the name. I think the guy's first name is Chris. I think it's called The Master Plan. The dude is in jail. I love this book because I was a public defender in New York City doing criminal defense work. He was in jail, and I think it's called Master List. And he made a list, and he wrote it on a wall. And he made a commitment to himself that he was just going to figure out how to get and cross off everything on that list while he was in jail, getting in shape, studying and reading, becoming sober, and then, like, when he got out, step by step by step. And so I also think that the first step, everybody, it goes back to the embers. It goes back to the embers to fan the freaking flame for yourself and give yourself permission to tap into all those things that you really want to cross off the master list before you die. And you got to get intentional about feeling that ember and writing down what is there. And then I think Jenna can help us to figure out, how do we create, Jenna, a support system when we feel like we have no one, or we have been conditioned as women to believe that we cannot ask for help.
Oh my gosh. So there's an actual chapter in my book about asking for help, because even to this day, it's a struggle. And I shared this with our mutual friend, Ed Milet, but I had to recognize that for so many of us, asking for help feels weak. But if we reframe it and we recognize that asking for help gives someone else the opportunity to be strong, it changes everything. Like, my mom is here right now. She is a helper. Like, her Enneagram, she's a helper. And when I ask her for help and tell her how she can support me, it makes her come alive. It helps her to live out her passion. So one of the things is, if you don't have anyone around you, if you don't have any community, you have to put yourself in proximity of finding people. Whether it is taking your kids to the playground where other parents might be, whether it is going on a walk in your neighborhood, and if you see somebody outside, stopping and talking to them, whether it is going to sit in a coffee shop and having conversation with the barista. The thing is about community is that we're waiting for ours to show up, but we're not showing up. We're not out there. We're not the ones reaching out. We're not the ones sending the text messages. You know that I do this in my life literally every single day, where I reach out and I say to people, I say, hey, no need to respond. I just want you to know I'm thinking of you and I'm here. Shoot me a message if you need something. Or I'll say, hey, Mel, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at today, so I know how I can show up and support you? If you're at a 10, let me celebrate you. If you're at a 1, how can I be there for you? I'm not going to assume you're any sort of way, whether it's what you're showing online or where you're at in your life. And so it's like, we have to start with being the support if we want the support back. but then we also have to learn, how do we ask for help and liberate other people to step into their power of helping us? I think both of those things are things that we get wrong all the time.
You know, it's easy, everybody, to kind of give that a giant eye roll. Seriously? Like, I got nobody and you're telling me I'll get a cup of coffee and talk to people at the playground? I have a confession. I have a hard time, like, pushing myself to go out. I am a real homebody. And, you know, a lot of you know that we have recently sold our house outside of Boston of 25 years, and we have moved to a much more rural area in southern Vermont where I do not have a lot of friends yet. And I noticed that the biggest obstacle in my way is me, because I sit in my house and I tell myself the story that there's only 3,000 people in this town. I'm never going to meet anybody. You know, there's nothing going on here. Like, but the truth is, I'm not actually doing anything. I'm not Googling what's going on. I'm not pushing myself to attend events. And so my own complaining and my story that I have no one is fueling behavior that keeps me isolated. And so the second that I started Googling stuff that's going on, I found a freaking drag queen bingo night at the local hotel to celebrate gay pride. I then bumped into a woman at the Walgreens parking lot who had a, you know, hat on for RGB. And I'm like, hey, and we start talking. I invite her to drag queen bingo. Turns out she used to work for Alvin Ailey in New York City and moved to this tiny town. And so that is how it happens. And we want to think it's more complicated, but it's not. And what you're learning so far, this is the book. It'll hold your hand like a great friend. How are you really? To help you take control of your life. It starts with that ember. Fanning the embers, everybody. And then it's about getting clear about what you need and surrounding yourself with people and stopping down that story that there's nobody there and life isn't fair and I can't do this and nobody likes me and it's not fair that I don't have a spouse or a supportive family or any of that stuff, because those embers, they turn into a smoldering fire and flame inside you. And we're giving you the steps, and the steps are simple. What makes it hard is you don't take it. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Because complaining about it, being angry at other people, like being in your misery, succumbing to your emotion, even though it can be overwhelming. And look, you're talking to a woman who literally for the last 6 weeks has been in a mental health breakdown. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? That's what that's what you need to ask yourself. And that's what the last third of this book is about. So what does that mean to you, Jenna? What are you going to do about it?
So here's the thing. When I think about the question, how are you really, or how am I really? Most of us don't want to answer it because we know if we're honest and the answer is I'm not okay, or I'm not happy, or I'm not good, that then we have to do something about it. It's like we have to confront that reality, and that's what will set you free, really. And so one of the things that I think it's wrong so often in this world with so much information is that we try to go so big so fast that all of a sudden when we crash, we say, why did I ever think I could do that? Who was I to think I could follow through? Who was I to think that I could start the business or lose the weight or get healthier or seek out the relationship? And what we're forgetting is that, like, if we can start to make the smallest progress, like progress that no one can see, progress that isn't Instagrammable, progress that just simply proves to ourselves that we are actually following through, that we are actually progressing and moving forward, that we are actually capable, it's like we're strengthened. And when we're strengthened, the confidence shows up. And when we're confident, we show up in a different way. And when we show up in a different way, we change. And when we change, everything happens. And so it's like, we live in a world that literally wants everything to be pretty and we want it to be showcased. It's like, imagine if you and I were sitting in Vermont and I was like, hey, Mel, let's go grab some chairs and watch this tree grow. It would be so boring, right? Nobody would do it. Because on the outside, what we see, we're not seeing anything happening. But underneath the surface, those roots are strengthening and lengthening and growing and reaching and giving this growth the roots that it needs to be sustained. And so to me, it's like when we think about what are we going to do about it, we often try to go big. We go too big, and then we live in this shame cycle that we didn't follow through, that of course we weren't able to do it, when in reality, we need to make such tiny little actions. There's a quote in the book that talks from BJ Fogg where it's like, pick the most minuscule, tiny little steps to progress so that you can build up your belief in yourself. Because the way you show up to your battles is directly linked to the warrior you believe you are. And most people don't even feel like a warrior today. Most people don't even feel like they can show up to the battle. And so it's like, how do we build up our confidence through such infinitely small progress that no one else will see, but that we can feel? That's what I think is the difference.
Hey, it's Mel. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed that video, by God, please subscribe because I don't want you to miss a thing. Thank you so much for being here. We've got so much amazing stuff coming. Thank you so much for sending this stuff to your friends and your family. I love you. We create these videos for you. So make sure you subscribe. Mwah.